Boom. What's going on, y'all? What's the word, Quasi? What's the word? We about to get active in here, y'all. We just setting up. Boom. Boom. Okay, let me see. Okay, bet. I can invite you on TikTok from here. Let me drop a caption down here. What up, Royal? That's gang right there. Okay. What's going on, y'all? On TikTok. Damn, it will not. Okay, jump in on TikTok real quick, bro. Oh, there you are. Try to request the invite. Oh, I think you gotta go live first, and then I can invite you. Yeah, I'm the double back. I put in the ground. Where's Tony at? You know. What's going on, y'all? We about to get to talking about this straw man on here. Looked at my stars and my child like he born to rap. Hip hop was just there, we had brought it back. Personal chiropractor, I just broke her back. Oh, most def, drop it in the comments. Yes, sir. My boy Studi in here.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Let me know once you go live on TikTok.
I am live on TikTok as we speak now.
Okay, bet. Let me see. You can't tag along. The money just called in the freeway back to bone. Hey. Okay. Okay, there we go. It say no feature access. Why is it not letting me invite you in here? Hey, do y'all know how, anybody in the comments know how to stream with somebody else, live stream with somebody else? Because I'm trying to get somebody in here. It's saying on yours it's saying no feature access. Like when I try to invite you, it say no feature access.
No, why the fuck is that?
Did they take your live stream down on YouTube? I mean on TikTok recently? Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Try doing it from your TikTok. Go on your TikTok, and in the comments it should say something like invite another host and go live together.
Let's see if it's from my account, because that's why. Contact references, English.
In the meantime, y'all, yeah, we about to be going over the straw man. We about to be giving a detailed explanation on how to remove it. We just about to be going over all that stuff, y'all. So just stay tuned. It's about to be lit. It's about to be lit. And if y'all not following me on Instagram or following QuaszyMoto on any of these platforms, because we're streaming this on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok right now, go make sure y'all go follow us on there. They have been. You talking about on TikTok? Let me see. What is this? Oh yeah, no, I know about that sacred knowledge about the breaking the fast. Yeah, I'm hip on that. And if y'all know what he talking about like why we call breakfast is actually because when you sleep, that's your fasting period where you not inputting anything into your body. And when you eat breakfast, you break in your fast. That's why it's break and fast. Your body is actually more powerful when you don't have anything in your system. Exactly. Why my battery going low? I should not charge it. What y'all talking about, man? We're here talking about some more learning. Facts, because your mind isn't wasting energy, process and stuff.
I think I might have to go to your profile
Okay, bet.
and do it like that. I think I have to add you.
Grand Rising, y'all. Because your body isn't wasting. Studi said what program I'm using. I'm streaming off YouTube right now on my computer. Y'all let and King Fisherman, we is streaming on IG right now.
It should be good now, I think.
Okay, bet. We'll see. You joined in on hold on. Hold on. I'm still looking for you on here. Did you try joining? Okay, you joined my live. Oh, no, that's not it. Did you try to go live on yours?
Yep, and when I go live on mine, I mean, unless that's the only way to do it, so.
Yeah, go live on your TikTok, and then it's gonna be a little icon at the bottom right here. Click that, and then it's gonna say
How the hell do you get that icon?
it's not on your TikTok live.
I don't have that shit. What the fuck is that? I've never seen that icon before.
Okay. Let's see.
You have a different type of account? Because I have,
Oh, do you got a pro account?
yeah.
You do? I do too.
I got the, what kind of, it's the TikTok, the creator one?
Is it TikTok the creator one? Yeah, I think I got the creator account.
Why the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's your account type. But shit, it's all good. We ain't gonna waste no more time. We just rock it on Tik.
Yep.
Yeah, we just rock it on Instagram and YouTube. So look, y'all that's on my TikTok live stream right now, if y'all want to see QuaszyMoto and, you know, be able to fully hear what he's saying, go on YouTube right now or go on my Instagram page. You can get to either one of those by going back to my TikTok homepage and clicking the Instagram icon, and it'll take you to my YouTube or my Instagram. So we live on all platforms right now. All right, so
Yeah. So I'm on TikTok as well. Bless you.
thank you.
And you know, let's just get this started. Let's talk about this strongman, and let's talk about how to claim ownership.
Yep. Okay, bet. So first, if anybody doesn't know me, my name is Double R the God. I'm a musician, I'm a engineer, I'm a producer, I YouTube, I do a lot of stuff. You can follow me on all my platforms at Double R the God. If you look up 2 R's the God, you can find me anywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, whatever. So when I started TikTok probably like January, and I just been on there, you know, going crazy, uploading my content and stuff. And QuaszyMoto is actually one of the first people that I found on TikTok, like just logging on, and I started seeing his content. I had previous knowledge of the Strawman and everything about it, but I just seen his page and he was going really into depth with him, so I linked up with him. That's how I met him. And yeah, so first, as far as the Strawman, first you guys got to know that what the United States is. The United States is not just a country, it's also a corporation, and there's different names that represent them. So for example, the United States of America and the United States are 2 different entities. So a lot of people think that when they see the United States or they see the United States of America, they're referring to the same thing. But in actuality, they're not. They're referencing 2 different things. So the United States of America is with the lowercase t on the is in reference to the country. And when you just see United States or United States Inc. or the United States, it's referring to a company. All right. So when you get your birth certificate, so everybody basically who has a birth certificate is a corporation in a sense. All right. So when you born, your parents basically signed a document, not unknowingly giving ownership over to you, to the government. All right. So also just to give y'all a heads up, I may be blanking out certain words because I don't want our stream to go down. So y'all gonna have to fill in the lines with certain stuff that we say. So when you signed your birth, you feel me, you were basically getting your rights handed over to your government. So now you have this entity that is in all capital letters, which is your name. So when you see your name in all capital letters on any type of document, it is referring to a corporation. When you got your birth certificate that made you a corporation of the United States, you are basically a franchise of the United States. All right. So just like how people have McDonald's and you can go buy you a McDonald's and be part of the McDonald's franchise, when you filled that out, you became a franchise of this system. All right. So that is what your straw man is. So your name, your straw man is your entity that deals with the United States business. This is your legal entity that allows you to communicate with the United States. But there is a whole nother entity, which is the actual you, which is the being that you are, that is just yourself, that doesn't have any legal nothing attached to it. It's your spiritual self, the self that the part of you that asks, how come we can get a speeding ticket, you know, when I'm a human being and I should be able to do whatever the hell I want to do? Or why do I get a ticket for not having a seatbelt when that's my choice? Those type of questions all line up with your straw man. That is, your straw man is the reason they're able to do that, because you have identified yourself as this entity. You weren't supposed to identify yourself as this entity. You were supposed to separate yourself and use it as a medium to deal with these people. All right. So yeah, I'm just go down the line. I know QuaszyMoto, he got a lot of information on this. He actually has his website where he teaches a lot and goes into depth about this stuff. So I'm just going to ask him some questions, and I know a lot of people on my channel have been asking me about Strawman and what's this about. So I wanted to bring him on here to go further into depth. So I'm gonna just ask him some questions, and then after I ask him questions, he's gonna we just gonna let y'all ask questions too. So yeah, go ahead, introduce yourself, bro.
Well, what's going on, everybody? I am QuaszyMoto. I have no type of commercial occupation. I do everything privately at this very moment. Everything is personal or for myself. Prior to doing all this and to coming to with all this knowledge, I used to manage restaurants, so that was my occupation before this. I started TikTok about almost 2 months ago, so end of February, I believe February 26th is the exact day I started, till now, and I've been studying for about 6, almost 7 years on the strawman and just legality and lawfulness of the corporation, or which people refer to as the United States of America. I have found that in my research that there is a duality of life, which people refer to as the matrix, and a strawman is the quote-unquote nomenclature that is being perpetuated as the transmitting utility utilized to communicate with the de facto forms of government that exist. I'm going to start off by just giving people a brief summary explanation of exactly what a strawman is, using the legal definition. So a strawman would be considered a person, a colloquial expression, designating arguments in briefs or opinions created solely for purpose of refuting them. Such arguments like strawmen because they are by nature insubstantial. In commercial and property contexts, the term may be used when a transfer is made to a third party, the strawman simply to retransfer to the transferor or to transfer to another in order to accomplish some purpose not otherwise permitted. That is the definition of a strawman from Barron's Dictionary of Legal Terms.
Y'all make sure y'all write that book down, because anybody who's interested in doing this, you're gonna need to read up. You're gonna have to read up, and that is a very important book to have.
Yes. So again, for those who did not see, this is Barron's Dictionary of Legal Terms. Now, the only other dictionary that I have where strawman is defined would be Ballantyne's Legal Dictionary and Thesaurus. In Ballantyne's Legal Dictionary and Thesaurus, a strawman is a person who appears as the record owner of real estate, but who is in fact holds the title for another, a dummy. So, understanding what a strawman is does nothing if you don't understand that this is all, in essence, an administrative process. Now, I only say it's an administrative process because the definition that they give for a strawman deals with an estate, and estate processing is an administrative process. If anybody has had any family members who have unfortunately passed away or anything like that, then you would understand that you do have to be an executor in some sense to handle the finances or any assets or any collateral that the X, Y, and Z person has left on this earth. That is the whole purpose of the administrative process. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to let Double R go ahead and take over.
Okay, so first question I'm gonna ask is what was the first thing that made you look into strawman? Like, what brought this to your attention?
So I'm going to keep telling everybody this. There's 2 videos, or really 1 video that started me on this journey. It was an ex-IRS agent. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen the video. I believe her name is Sherry Jackson. There was a $50,000 challenge for anyone who can find that income tax applies to the average American. So, anybody who's working a 9-to-5 job and income tax is technically applicable to them. That challenge has never been completed to this very day. So that's what started me on my journey, because, it sounded, slightly interesting, and I looked through it, and I genuinely couldn't find anything of that sort. That also brought me to a video talking about birth certificates and understanding that a birth certificate is technically a collateralized instrument or security instrument that can be utilized in the same essence as a bank note or a certificate of deposit. Okay. So that will put me on this path of understanding what specifically these people are talking about, because it's very easy to debunk a myth, but when you have books and books and books and books and books that's consistently telling you that this is not a myth and this is actual fact. It's not like people are pulling these things out of street, like, you know, thin air.
Right.
The term strawman, for example, it's not a term that most people are familiar with, and even if you are familiar with the term, it almost seems like something you've probably seen from a YouTube video, and there's no Googleable reference to that word. Well, you know, dictionary's right here. So
yeah, and y'all see that these words are everything. Like, these words are powerful, no matter when it's just in your day-to-day life or if it's legal terms, because there's a double definition for every word, and it's like that for a reason. Everybody, when they was in school and y'all was young, y'all always wondered why phone was spelled with a P and not an F. Y'all always wonder why a C could make more than one sound, why it could be a S or why it could be a K. That's because that shit was put there to confuse you. Words that sound the same, that are spelt differently, or, you know what I'm saying, all that type of shit is used to hide words. All right, so understand that is the basis of the English language. Why you got homonyms, homophones, anagrams. These are all ways to code and remove words. That's why you can replace a vowel in a word and it almost mean the same thing. But the law dictionary is a whole nother set of terms. So for those who don't know, when it comes to law, there's a whole set of words. Like, people doesn't mean the same thing in law as it does in regular speaking. A person could be referred to as a corporation. It could be referred to as a person. So when you talking about legal terms, or when you reading something, you got to know and under what terms are we speaking? Are we speaking legally? Are we speaking normally? You know what I'm saying? So that's a the words are very powerful in all realms.
They really are.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's literally how we got into this mess, by completely changing definitions and, you know, going through new centuries and new generations and things of that nature. People tend to forget what it was like prior. So, you know, freedom was fought for one time, and then right after that, people forgot that they still have to continue to fight for it.
Exactly.
It's not the job of one person; it's the job of the nation. Again, the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, your Bill of Rights, the definition of people. Just to read this real quick, just so people have an understanding. People in reference to the Constitution, Declaration, and the Bill of Rights means the group of people who make up a nation. That is the definition of people inside of here. So every single person makes up a nation. There's not one person who makes up a nation. It's all of us. We are a collective unconscious of individuals. To expand on that, we are also not humans. We are superior beings than humans are. And the only reason why this is in reference is because to understand what a straw man is, and to understand how we got into this mess, understand that they compare a human and a straw man as being, in essence, the same thing. The only reason why is because a human can die and a spirit cannot. When you want to sit here and claim yourself as, you know, X, Y, and Z, I'm a human, or X, Y, and Z, I have certain rights, or X, Y, and Z, I'm a citizen, when you break all those words down and they come back to one original root, they are actually classifying you as a straw man and fleegus. You don't actually exist on this earth. In fact, you don't exist in fact. And that's how their system works. So everything is in fact. It's not just presumption. So presumption, in essence, is fact as well. That's how these corporations are able to get a hold of it. So a birth certificate, yes, that does put you into the jurisdiction, and that does create a straw man and things of that nature. But it's also a lot more than that. This is the entering tool into the matrix. This is what makes the entire world seem as if, you know, it doesn't even make any sense.
Exactly.
Because for someone to have a birth certificate would technically be a certificate of indebtedness. Again, how can all of its people be in debt? Every single person who was born into a state has some sort of birth certificate. You know, so that's saying that the entire nation itself has no spiritual ancestry, if that makes sense to people.
Right.
Like, you're not from the divine being itself. You are not coming from, you know, the almighty creator, the almighty source that we all are supposed to come from, the innate nature that is within us. We are super people. We are not, or superhumans, picked
He
this
just
book.
pulled the fattest book out I've ever seen in my life.
You feel me?
No cap.
You feel me? So, using this book right here, a human is defined as being similar to a rat. And that is the exact words that they use inside.
You said a rat?
A rat.
Wow. Oh, wait. Like R-A-T?
Yeah, like R-A-T. I'm actually going to go to the word really quick.
That's
Take
crazy.
over double arm while I look up this word.
What'd you say?
So you can take over while I look for this word really quick. I go to my bookmark.
Yeah, I'm about to look at the YouTube comments real quick, see what they're talking about. We keep our kids, future generations out of the contract. Okay, I'm gonna write that question down too, Studi, because he got a question.
I found it. Right here. A human being. Let's see. The least developed of all ancestral. What has been found true about rats may be applied. And that is the definition of a human.
Wait, read that one more time.
So I'm going to read this one more time, and I'm also going to show the dictionary again. So, definition, human, a human being that inhabit Earth, the least developed of all ancestral, what has been found true about rats may be applied to. That is what the definition of human is. Now, they also, people will sit here and say, like, oh, they just mean like you're a rat, like you snitch. They also have the definition of that in here on a completely different note. So they're not referencing, like, you know, like Takashi's a rat or something like that, or like a person snitches. They're not referencing that. They're saying that humans are comparable to rats in the sense where they're disgusting creatures.
And can be experimented on. Because that's exactly what they do to rats.
Exactly. Experimented on. They also put under the definition of human, let's see.
Hey, Boog.
It is, let me see. Other relating to man as distinguished from the superhuman, from the divine, or from nature. That is also a definition of a human. So, being human means that you are not superhuman, you are not divine, you are not from nature. The book I'm getting this from, Webster's Third New International Dictionary, unabridged. Everyone see that? It's a fairly thick book. So, this is why it makes no sense to consider yourself a human. This is not the human race. You need to understand what a human is before you call yourself one. If you're made in God's image, God is not human.
Exactly. God is a God.
Exactly. So it's like calling a dog a human. Like, that
right.
doesn't really make sense. Or like calling a human an animal. That does make sense because you think of it as a lowly creature comparable to animals. It's not that animals are lowly creatures. It's just that we come from a divine spirit, and an animal doesn't. And God doesn't say, let me make animals in my creation, let me make man in my image. And then he made animals.
Facts. Okay. All right, so I was about to ask you another question. All right, so look, I'm gonna throw this one in. This one from my homeboy. I'm gonna ask this one. Well, actually, hold on. I'm gonna go down the line because I'm gonna hit these questions in order. So look, the first question is, what is the first step in removing your straw man?
First step in removing straw man, I always say, would be to authenticate the birth certificate or get the passport. Now, the reason why I say is the birth certificate and the authentication, birth certificate and do the passport. I do authenticating of the birth certificate because when you realize that this is a straw man, or if you want to call it the straw man, you have to understand that this is an administrative process because this involves an estate. If you know nothing about estate processes, if you've never been a probate, if you've never had a parent, or anybody who's ever passed away in your life, you've never been the executor of anything, this is something that you probably want to understand. A book that's really good on that is Estate and Trust Administration for Dummies. Great book. It's not very hard. It breaks everything down easily, and another great book to go with that is Accounting for Dummies, which is 9 books in one. These are the 2 books that I utilize. I don't know if everyone can see them. To sit here and understand administrating a trust and a estate. Now, the birth certificate. I authenticate the birth certificate because I need a prima facie document. So, the original application is technically the original certificate.
Hold on 1 second, bro. What's a prima facie document?
Prima facie document is, in essence, an original standing document. So that's all prima facie means. Because the purpose of authenticating is because you will never get your original document back. The original document is the application itself. So let's say this, you have a car title, right? So you have the title to your car. The original application would be the application that you submitted to get the title. So now you just have a certified copy of the information that you put on the application.
Okay, bet. So basically, the first step would be like retrieving your original document, the original birth certificate. All right, y'all. So your original, the document that you have is not your original birth certificate. I want to say it's the certificate of live birth, right?
Yeah, certificate of live birth, or like the short form, long form, depending on what state you're in. You may have two forms, which would be short and long, or you may just have one, which would just be the long form or the short form, whatever your state calls it. But certain states have two, certain states have one. Doesn't matter. You need to figure out between states.
Okay. All right. All right. Keep going.
Now the purpose of authenticating now, again, like I said, prima facie document and amended. So you can amend the original certificate, because once you have the original certificate back on the original application, you can then put it as, you know, what it's supposed to properly say. That's the only way that I start to do my process, because that's how I do things. I want to have my originals back. I also say get the passport, because a passport, if you look at the definition of a passport, is supposed to be for do not detain and do not arrest. This is supposed to be for times of war, which we are in now. The Declaration of National Emergency declares a war. In any sense, it does not matter what it's for. And we've been in war for hundreds and hundreds of years. We're always declaring national emergency, but never, I forgot what the word is, but never calling it off. So, still in a national emergency, we're still in time of war. So a passport, in essence, is the thing that keeps you out of pretty much jail, or not out of jail, but it keeps you from being arrested while you were trying to do this entire administrative process and trying to gain your freedom, your rights, and make your claim back. In conjunction with that, first step of authenticating the birth certificate, that will be done through the Secretary of State in Philadelphia, I believe, or Pennsylvania. That website is on, that link is on Patreon. But after that would be establishing contracts between the debtor and the secured party, and also filing UCC financing statements, non-UCC financing, unrecorded. I mean, unregistered but recorded.
Hold on, fam. You breaking up a little bit. All right, you said, all right, so after you authenticate your birth certificate, and then you authenticate your passport. So what if you don't have a passport?
I always recommend everybody to get a passport. Again, that's one of you can use that as a travel document from point A to point B. That's exactly what it's for. It states that expressly on the passport cards. Now, there's a difference between passport cards and passport books as well. For those who've seen my video explaining the difference on the asterisk on the passport card, it pretty much signifies different nationality.
Hold on. Wait 1 second, bro. Not to cut you off. Hold on. I just want to let them know on TikTok. So I don't know if y'all have been hold on. I don't know if y'all on TikTok are just joining the live or not. But if you want to watch, if you want to see QuaszyMoto on the screen and listen to it, you can go on my Instagram page and watch the live stream on there. And you can also go on my YouTube page. And if you don't know what my Instagram is, go on my TikTok homepage, click the Instagram icon, and it'll take you straight to it. All right, so yeah. So keep going.
Okay, so yeah. Where did I leave off at?
Having a passport. If I was saying, what if you don't have a passport, or if you do?
Oh, well, you need a passport because I always say you can always, for understanding an administrative process and even doing anything about the strawman, to understand that the government cannot convert your rights into a privilege and demand a license for these things. This is also coming with the administrative process. It's not just sitting here and doing things just to make your own claim of your name back. You are getting all of your rights back. Anything that the government has presumed that you have given to them as a benefit, to receive a benefit or to receive a privilege. Again, this book right here, the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, beneficiaries of that Constitution. Okay? With that being said, the purpose of even, doing the passport and anything like that, if you're going to let people trample over all of your rights, if you're going to let people sit here and call you the straw man, or if you're going to continue to pretend to be the straw man and not fight for the things that, you're supposed to be fighting for, your rights will never be kept unless you fight for them yourself. These are individual rights granted to every single person, one-on-one. Double R has these rights, I have the rights, every single person in this live stream has these rights. I'm not going to fight for your rights, you need to fight for your own rights, for everyone else to be able to have these rights.
Facts. Exactly.
Does that make sense to everyone?
Yeah, and y'all just by not doing anything it's not going to make your comfort any better. Like, don't just sit there and not participate, because more of your rights is slowly being stripped away, and it's gonna get to a point to where you have no rights, and now you want to try to do something. So don't wait. You feel me? Like, now is the time.
It really is. Now is really the time. Put it like this. At this point in life, there's so much mandation on, what you can and cannot do. When will it ever end? And when you decide to finally stop it, will it be too late for you to even do anything? That's the whole point. Again, life is never guaranteed. So again, you could die today and then you would realize that you never fought for a single one of your God-given rights. You're a human your entire life and never declared any of the things that God gave you. Not once. You've never claimed it. Now, why would you sit here and do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. There's no point in going through this administrative process for yourself. This is not a selfish thing to do, because when you do an administrative process, this sets up a trust that you can let your family inherit. You understand what that means? That means that you have generational wealth. You become like the 1%. These aren't things to just sit here and just do for the life is bigger than just you, and it's not at the same time. That's the purpose of authenticating the birth certificate and getting the passport, because you don't want to be detained when you're trying to fight for the rights of yourself and trying to show everyone else that they have rights themselves. So that's the purpose of authenticating the birth certificate and even getting the passport. Aside from, the status and things that come with it, it's more along the lines of you were doing what you were supposed to do on this earth.
Okay, bet. All right, I'm about to move on to the next question. All right, so that was first steps. All right, so what are some good books to read? Like, just show us some of the books.
Okay.
Make sure y'all write these down on a piece of paper, on some notes or whatever, or screenshot it, or probably screenshot them.
I got a couple questions on my live stream, and I'm gonna see if I can answer those, and also I'm gonna give you a chance to elaborate and branch off on those too.
Bet. Hey, flip your camera over so they can see cause it's the camera flipped.
Got you. Alright, 1 second. How the fuck? You know what? This is difficult.
That's Instagram. I think you just double click. Oh, there we go. Yep.
So, let's see. Oh shit. Well, then it's gonna fuck up my shit.
And y'all, I'm gonna go through and check the comments too once we get to the end. So if y'all had any questions, we can answer them.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna do this on you know what? Let me see if I can find the best way to do this. All right, so here we go. We have Black's Law Dictionary 6th edition. I'm sorry, everybody on my TikTok, but I'm just gonna show this on for the Instagram. Black's Law Dictionary with Pronunciation 6th edition. This is a good book to get into, because I am going to start making videos on this. This is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and this is from the United Nations. This is a very good book to read. We have the Constitution and Declaration along with the Bill of Rights. We have Law 101, everything you need to know about American law. We got Valentine's Legal Dictionary and Thesaurus, Barron's Dictionary of Legal Terms, and I recommend for everybody who wants to have an understanding as far as, trust and administering a trust, and, going through a state process, if you have any ideas about STRAWMAN, State and Trust Administration for Dummies, and Accounting for Dummies. Those 5 or 6 books that I gave are really all anybody needs to, you know, do anything that I'm referring to. I just like to have the extra books because I like to cross-reference a lot of material. I do a lot of, I plan on doing a lot of legal things in the future. So that's what that is for as well. And I plan on communicating a lot with judges in the future. So for those who are on the live stream here, Black's Law Dictionary 6th edition, State and Trust Administration for Dummies, Accounting All-in-One for Dummies, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence, along with the Bill of Rights is in here. Law 101, everything you need to know about American law. We got Valentine's, Legal Dictionary and Thesaurus, and Barron's Dictionary of Legal Terms.
Oh yeah, also too guys, on his y'all go follow him on TikTok. He actually got a video on his TikTok page showing all of the books that he references and uses too, so y'all can go on there and check that out as well.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see.
So let me see if there's any questions. Webster's Dictionary is not a book recognized in CT. Okay, well, I have like 7, probably, I have like 10 dictionaries. So even if this one is not, you know, an acceptable form of law, well, I have Black's Law, I have Barron's Law, I have Valentine's Law, I have Lumiere's Law. I have so many law dictionaries, it's not like they can tell me anything. Let's see, I left the U.S. 25 years ago, never a citizen. Can I go back without filing? I don't know your circumstances specifically. Again, that's another thing about this. There's so many individual circumstances, I can't tackle them all in the sense where like I can't explain every single circumstance in like a 60-second video, or even on this live stream. This is also the purpose of having so many different dictionaries, because they explain different scenarios that are not just unfortunately not covered in, you know, what possibly may be had at the very moment. So if you would like to go more in depth, I would recommend following me, looking at my videos, watching my videos, checking out Double R's videos, because he also breaks down the words and how you would even understand coming back, or, you know, understand filing, or understand the words that they use inside of their applications. Or just join me on Patreon, because I can get more interpersonal one-on-one. You can message me things, and I can also send you documents that you made. Could you get an international passport? Every single passport, in essence, is supposed to be international, because if I can take my passport and go to another country, that's an international passport as it is. The passport book would be considered the international version. The passport card is the domestic version, and that's why I say you can use the passport card to travel, because it's for domestic use. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So those are all the questions on my live stream.
All right, so look, this one, my boy Studi on YouTube, he said, so how do we stop our future generations from going through this process? So for example, say you were going to the hospital and you just had your baby, how would you prevent your baby from going through the process, and how would that affect you in the relationship with your child?
So, answer this question properly, understand exactly what a birth is. So it's not even considered being birthed, it's considered being born. When you're birthed, you're brought into wholly separate existence, and that would be considered being entering the matrix. So you're not birthed anymore, you're born. When you're born, your born record is supposed to be prepared by the captain of the ship, or the person who presents the certificate of manifest, which would be the captain, the father. So the father would, in essence, have to fill out, you know, an application and then lean against it, because that is his claim. That is, you're claiming that that's your child. And in essence, and to go in conjunction with that, the mother is not supposed to declare herself a maiden because she's married. There's no such thing, or there's not that there's no such thing, but every child who's born when the mother is a maiden is now a bastard. The child has then just been declared born out of wedlock. Therefore, you have no legitimate claim to your child, because the state has a claim because they registered the birth. So, with that being said, your father would have to present his own certificates to then be signed by the doctor, and you would have to lean against that yourself. It's going to be recorded on public record rather than being registered to the state. There's a difference between register and record. Registration is giving them the power in a sense where they can now assert claim over whatever they want. When you record something, you've ever heard of the Book of Record or the Book of Life? That is the Book of Record. The Book of Record is the only book of life that actually exists because it's your record. So that's how you would stop that process in the future. It's literally, the father has to do this. This is the father's job. I'm not saying that the woman is not important. This isn't a whole sexist thing. This is just the designation as to what a man is supposed to do for his family. This is a man's job to sit here and be the captain of the ship. He is the head. The mother is the body. She's everything else. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody get that?
Okay, so you said the father would have to say that part one more time.
So the father would have to, since the father is the captain of the ship, right?
Right.
Anytime the father is not the captain of the ship, the child is a bastard. The reason why the child is a bastard is because if the father's not going to be the captain, somebody needs to be the captain. There's a ship. The only reason why there's a ship is because all ships are considered female under international maritime and admiralty jurisdiction. That's the only reason why. Now, since all females are considered ships, the baby sits in water. This is a commerce transaction. Since it's a commerce transaction, there needs to be a captain to the commerce. The father's supposed to be the captain. When the captain brings his baby, which is considered cargo from the ship, because the ship is female, right? He's supposed to produce a certificate of manifest because he has manifested a product under international jurisdiction and under maritime jurisdiction. So that being said, you would need to put your certificate of manifest, or you would need to give your certificate of manifest to the doc to sign. You would also need to place that on public record and not register your baby to the state. That is how you claim ownership back of your child. I also say this: there's no problem with registering your child to the state as long as you know an administrative process. So if you're not going to do it yourself, but let's say that you're going to register your kid to the state just so they have a certificate of indebtedness, so they can establish their own generational wealth. That's fine. It's okay. But as long as you know what you're doing, and as long as you act in a timely manner and understand, trust, and administer in the state processes, then it all depends on you and yourself. I always say this: the United States is not bad if you know how to operate in it. And it does no benefit to teach people how to be private, because if you don't understand how to be public, you probably won't understand how to be private. It's kind of the same, and if you can't function in one world, I don't see how people can function in the other, because the duality, in essence, is combined to make neutral. The whole purpose of doing an administrative process is to, in essence, cancel one thing and then cancel the other thing and then have everything come back to being zero.
Okay. No, that was a great explanation, bro. That was a great explanation. Okay, so now what about the people who already have had a child and they want to reclaim the rights? Do they have to? Does the parent have to remove their straw man before they start doing all of this, or can they do it while they still have their straw man?
So, in the way I would explain this and how I would do this would be is I would claim myself and then claim them, because I'm on their certificate. They can't have the certificate without me, and it starts from me because I am the source of the certificate. So what I would do would be to, make the claim and establish myself, because how can I establish a claim against the certificate if I'm in essence, the same status as the baby?
Right. Exactly.
So I would always start with myself and, in essence, go through the authentication process. Also let them know that I'm no longer a child, and, I am a part of the Asian majority and no longer a minority. I would amend the birth certificate to, not be an legis certificate, and then I would place that on public record once I have fully changed the certificate to my likeness. And then after that, I would go and do that for my child with the exact same process in essence. I would place a lien against that certificate. I would assign that certificate to a financial officer or something of that nature. It all depends on what you want to do, because the certificate is also technically a bond, which creates an obligation, which is also people call money. So it's not just enslavement, because there's many facets that come with the certificate. But it's really just doing the same thing over and over and over again, based on how you want to handle it, like with your child. So I
Good answer, bro. What was the other one? Okay, so how do you go about accessing the funds connected to your straw man? And like explain the whole bond and where the money comes from.
All right. So everyone has been very, very curious about this whole money thing, and I have been trying to tell people there's no such thing as money. There's absolutely no such thing as money. I wish I had $1 in my pocket to give you an example that I love to, but I don't. So I'm just gonna say it like this: the green piece of paper that everybody has inside of their wallet or wherever they keep their money at, the money that's in your bank account, that's not actual money. That is called fiat currency. That currency has absolutely no backing in any standing whatsoever. That's in essence just an IOU. To put it simply, House Joint Resolution 192, June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10. Those are two pretty much acts of Congress, or whatever you want to call them, legislations, and whatever you want to refer to them as, referencing that the United States, the corporation, is now a bankrupt corporation. Now, understanding how bankruptcy works in legal sense, when you were bankrupt, you were considered civilly dead. Now, once you were civilly dead, that means that you no longer are alive. That's the same thing as if you were put in a coffin and then they put the dirt on top. That's what's considered civilly dead. That's what happens when you become bankrupt. They issue these birth certificates because the United States is bankrupt, and the Treasury is supposed to handle all of the obligations of its citizens. That's what House Joint Resolution 192 says. That's what Public Law 73-10 says. That's literally the job of the United States Treasury, even without those two things that I just cited. A birth certificate is a certificate of indebtedness acknowledging that a debt exists. So if a certificate of indebtedness has been issued because you've just been born, right? So you have a birth certificate. That means that has now just become an obligation of the United States Treasury. Now, what does that mean? That means that because you are the intended beneficiary, because you are the first person that is listed on that certificate, you are the child that is listed on the certificate as the intended beneficiary, that means that you are owed the interest that the certificate has accumulated. It's not money. It is not a green piece of paper. Those are Federal Reserve notes. The Federal Reserve Act of 1913 gave the Federal Reserve exclusive power to print our money. So what that means is now we have a private corporation printing our money. There's nothing United States about the Federal Reserve, nothing federal about the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is a private corporation. They have nothing to do with us. Again, if the Federal Reserve prints $1, then that means the United States owes them $1.16. How are they going to get $1.16 if they're bankrupt? That means that debt will continuously accumulate.
So
the only way to get more money is through the 14th and 16th Amendment, and that just allows taxation on all of our goods and services.
So hold on, let me ask you. Okay, so basically what you're saying is that the money that we consider to be regular money is fiat currency. It's not really money because it's not backed behind anything. And then the United States, who we consider our government, who we assume that we're actually getting the money from and who's printing up the money, is not printing up the money. And it's a private corporation that's loaning them another type of money. And the United States basically owes them with interest. So that money can never be paid off.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly it. So, as far as this whole trust and administrative process, people think that they're gonna have thousands of dollars pop up in their account, or that they're gonna get a check with X amount. That's not how this works. When you deposit when you utilize a certificate of indebtedness, or if you utilize a bond, if anybody has ever utilized a bond before, you do realize that there's only a certain amount of ways to utilize it. They will either cash it for you and give you fiat currency, which would be Federal Reserve notes, but they will not allow you to deposit that into your account. So you cannot deposit a bond into your account and with a set amount of value. That's never going to happen. Banks don't work like that. It's more along the lines of you have to send that obligation to the United States Treasury, and then they discharge, set off, or offset the charges. That is how banking works. So, in essence, what you would do is you would take your birth certificate and mark it as a special deposit for special purposes. For special deposit is a deposit that creates bailment or trust, and that's exactly what we're doing. It's state and trust administration. So that's why I say get these books and things of that nature, because they literally explain what special deposits are, what bailment are. It's a very specific way to handle a certain type of money, because we don't have hard currency that's backed by gold or silver anymore. This is the only other way that you can utilize money, because they took everything else away from us. So you don't get a check, you don't get physical dollars. You establish a trust by giving them an obligation to then be responsible for. So they are now responsible. The title holder is responsible for, right? So think of the bond as like a title. Once you have the title, you are then responsible. You have to handle all the obligations of it. That's what the whole purpose of sending the birth certificate to them and making it a special deposit, so they can set up a VIP account to handle all of your set-off, discharge, and all your fees that you incur. That's how you make payments utilizing the bond that you send in. You would have to make in essence, like a subsection bond. So if anybody's ever seen money being printed, it's on a sheet, and there's like a whole bunch of $1 bills, and then you cut it, and then you cut it again, and then you got a stack of hundreds. So in essence, you're doing that with your bond. You have a bond that's worth $100 million. You need to not take the sheet off or not cut it up, but in essence, make a payment from that bond. So kind of like creating your own money. I don't want to say creating your own money, but utilizing a private version of your bond.
So would you be able to utilize your bond to, like, say for example, pay off your house or put on your car, or is there? Yeah. So how, like, so basically your bond that we all think is attached to money isn't necessarily attached to money, but it can be converted in a sense, like it can be converted into it. Okay. So once you go through your straw man process, so then you will go. How would you go about that? Obviously, there's a process to that.
So again, that's authenticating the birth certificate. I always think it's the passport, because even when doing this administrative process or trust process, whatever you want to call it, strawman process, you don't want to be encumbered, meaning arrested or detained while you are trying to accomplish something, or make a mistake in any sense whatsoever, and then feel as if you have to watch over your back, or that someone's going to come and get you. It's not. You want to feel safe while you're doing this, and this is why I always recommend a passport. Now, to properly do this, again, this involves authenticating birth certificate, passport for that specific reason, creating a security agreement, common law copyright, a hold harmless indemnity agreement, a power of attorney, and a couple other significant documents. Now, the purpose of these documents is to establish a contract between the debtor, which would technically be the person who is named on the birth certificate, and the secured party, which would technically be the intended beneficiary. So you're the intended beneficiary of your birth certificate, but they have that reversed as far as presumption goes. So they have you as the birth certificate name instead of the beneficiary, when it's supposed to be the other way around.
Okay.
You make this claim doing a UCC financing statement. This is what it's called in their world. When you start understanding UCC Article 3 and UCC Article 9, this talks about secure transaction and negotiable instruments. This is, it does have to do with the birth certificate, but this is in essence like how we get our money and how we do transactions, and like this is how you, in essence, work with your birth certificate. The contracts are just your collateral that is being pledged to the secured party, and the power of attorney is so that you are now the attorney over all of that collateral. Nobody else has a claim. You don't need a public defender. You are conscious enough to hear and defend your rights.
Okay, so when I get what you're saying. Like when you say that your bond is basically a title, it's like when you get a title for a car, your car is worth money, but it's not necessarily money. And you have to go through some means of breaking it down into money, but that's the legal process with the documents and stuff that you need to have. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. All right, so I got one more question, and then we gonna answer everybody else questions. I got some people in the comments too on YouTube. All right, so what are the pros and cons of removing your straw man that you've experienced?
I will say that there's no con, and the only con that I've ever experienced was being ignorant. That's it. It's being ignorant and, well, yeah, just being ignorant, and that goes in like subsection with everything. So thinking you know more than you know, thinking you don't know, speaking when you aren't supposed to speak, and not speaking when you aren't supposed to speak.
Right.
Those are the only things that, as a con, as far as anything that I do. Aside from that, it's really just being vigilant, and the pros are phenomenal in a sense where you have your unalienable rights back. You feel like a free person. You feel as if, you know, you have fought for a just mean. It feels as if I feel like God in essence, and I don't mean to compare myself, but you know, in physical flesh form, it feels like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't want to sit back and watch a creation that I actually kind of enjoy be destroyed.
Right.
So I'm going to do my part, and you know, if you decide to do nothing and everyone just wants to wait around, you know, go ahead. But I don't know, I did something. So.
Real talk. Real talk. I feel that 100%. All right, so look, I'm a
my part, and you know, if you decide to do nothing and everyone just wants to wait around, you know, go ahead. But I don't know, I did something. So.
Real talk. Real talk. I feel that 100%. All right, so look, I'm a stop your children from going through the process. We explained that already.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see what else is in here. Can you repeat what you said?
This is a trial and error process. I'm just going to do my comment. It really is just a trial and error process. This is why I recommend the passport always, because you will not get detained and arrested with the passport. So it makes the trial and error process a little bit less nerve-wracking. How long is the process? The process can take, honestly, as long as you want it. It all depends on your level of understanding and how committed you are to doing this. Again, it took me 6 years to have the level of understanding that I have now, and I still know that I don't know as much as I want to know. So, with that being said, I still know that my work as far as research and stuff is not complete. Again, you can count yourself whenever you feel like you're good, but that would probably be ignorant of you because you can never stop learning.
Right. Okay, let me see. Let me go through some of the TikTok comments. What will you no longer be entitled to after? She's somebody on TikTok said, "What will you no longer be entitled to?" Like, so you still have, right? So basically, I'm assuming once you remove your straw man, you would just claim your. Well, you just are removing, identifying yourself as that corporation, so you still own that corporation and everything attached to it. You just separating yourself from that. Okay. Well, I was.
So you're the intended beneficiary of the strawman, but they just make you the strawman. So this does not stop any government benefits because everything is done for the benefit of you. Again, when you have unalienable rights, that can be interpreted however you want. The Constitution is interpreted in literal sense in the favor of its intended beneficiaries, which are the people, and the people are those which make up the nation. It's you.
Right.
It's you. Right.
Okay. Somebody else said. Eden Rain said, "Why would somebody be after you while doing this?" And I don't. And I'm pretty sure you didn't mean exactly like somebody being after you, but in a sense, like as you being a immigrant. Like if you come over to the United States, you aren't classified as anything in that instance. You know what I'm saying? In that moment, you haven't been classified as anything. So it's like you're separate from the business. So it would be easy to identify you as, oh, you ain't never did your birth certificate and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, just having the knowledge of the law system and what to say, when to say it, and when not to say it. It really comes down to knowing the law and knowing how to identify yourself properly and reference information to them so that they know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. If people know this, I don't think, not that I don't think, but I have a question in a sense where do people actually know, like, why they are considered illegal immigration. You have illegally entered a company. That means that you're trespassing on private property, technically speaking. That's why they call it illegal immigration. But you can come to this country because you can come to America for free without having to worry about being part of a corporation. You know, you can always get a 98 series EIN, and technically you're already a part of the corporation. You're just a foreign portion of the corporation. 98 series EIN numbers are done through the IRS, and that's just a foreign trust. So if you have a foreign trust, you can no longer be deported. Just saying.
That's dope. That's dope. I didn't know that. Okay, let's see. Let me go through.
Because you're not involved in Congress and you can't touch.
Somebody said, is this like getting rid of citizenship? Technically, yes, but it doesn't mean that you can't operate as a citizen.
So you're strong as a citizen, but you're an American. That's what that means. So a citizen, in essence, technically be just a corporation. With its, 14th Amendment due process laws. That's all that is. That's all that is.
Oh yeah, and when you remove your straw man, you're basically separating your identity, because the government and these corporations, they look at you as this one straw man until you separate yourself and say, this is my straw man and this is me. It's almost like when you file out for a business and you come up with the EIN number. The business takes the fall for it. It doesn't fall on your Social Security. Your straw man is your own corporation. Wait, say that again?
I said the government set up a corporation for your benefit, which would be called a strong, right? So they made an alternate version of you for your benefit, quote unquote, let's just say per se. I mean, not say per se, but that's what it actually is. I mean, to take the birth certificate and utilize it in its proper sense would technically be considered a benefit. So they just, switched the roles on you, and then everything is de facto, which means just presumption of fact. So if I can assume, like for example, if I can assume that you're a colored person in essence, meaning that you're black, then you are based on the fact that I presumed it, and now that just stands. And that's how the government works, and that's what de facto means. It's a legitimate authorization versus being de jure. And de jure would be that we would have to say that it's true for it to be true. And what I mean by we, I mean the people who are the nation and the sovereign themselves. I don't mean me, myself, or just me.
Okay, yeah, I'm still looking through comments.
Right now, check us out, YouTube, Instagram. We were having trouble with TikTok. I don't know why it wouldn't let us, do the joint one, but I'm on LiveStream with Double R right now. Go check out his page. To confirm, you said 98 series EIN. Oh, yeah, 98 series EIN, by the way. So 98 series also goes with 99 series, 98, 99, whichever one they give you, the same thing. All of that is just a foreign trust for those who wanted to know. So they'll either give you a 98 number or a 99 number. Don't think that just because they give you a 99, it's not a foreign trust. It is a foreign trust still.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking through the comments. I don't see too many questions. Let me go down to these other ones real quick. So yeah, Mira, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I'm gonna be uploading this live stream on my Instagram page, so y'all will be able to watch this whole video back. I'm gonna leave it up. I'm gonna try to download it if I got enough space and upload it to YouTube as well. And if I can post it here on TikTok, I will. But yeah, y'all. So basically, if y'all want any more information about the straw man and going through the removing process, Quasi actually has a website. He has his Patreon, and you can he is actually teaching you and showing you the documents and helping you and leading you and guiding you through. So everything that we talked about in this session, he can explain to you in further depth on his Patreon. So you go ahead and tell them what your link is and how they can access that.
So the link to my Patreon is www.patreon.com/QuaszyMoto. The link is also on my TikTok, and it's also bio, and it's also in my Instagram bio. Or you can just message me, and I will always send you the link. Also, follow Double R the God on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. analysis on breaking down the words and letting people understand them for those who don't have the dictionaries or for those who don't have any idea as far as, you know, what's going on as far as words, spells, and the black magic that they use to confuse us and keep us in mental servitude.
Exactly. Yep. And y'all can also find me on my website. My website is legacytowave.net. You can find it on my Instagram, TikTok page. It should be there. You'll be able to see it. Also follow me on YouTube and and Instagram. But yeah, that's where my major stuff is. After I post, for y'all that's been following me on TikTok, after I'm done doing my series, I will be uploading full-length videos where I talk about everything in that series from front to back. So if you have any questions in between, I'll be doing a live showing y'all that, and I'll be uploading it to my website as well. But yeah, y'all, so that's pretty much it. I'm glad that everybody joined in. I know it's a lot of people in here, man. We appreciate y'all, appreciate the support. Make sure y'all make sure y'all share this, and make sure y'all follow both of us and just stay tuned.
Yep, stay tuned. We're going to be doing this again very soon in the near future, guys. So make sure you keep up with all of our work. Make sure you guys get the books that's recommended. Make sure that you understand how words are spelled. Make sure you just get the full synopsis of everything.
Yep.
Before you try to start jumping into some of this stuff.
Exactly. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, guys. Thank you for joining both of us. We appreciate all of your time. We enjoyed speaking and we enjoyed the questions that you guys asked. You can always message either of us, or you can always request us to do another live stream together. So
yep. And if y'all have any requests on what y'all want us to go live on, definitely DM us. For y'all on TikTok, DM me on Instagram. I'll respond a lot quicker because I have a lot of notifications on TikTok, but on my Instagram it's not as doesn't have the same momentum. So definitely tap in with me on there.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all. All right, fam. Peace.
Everyone stay safe. Much love to you and your families, and blessings.
See, if we don't, that's going to. All right, y'all, I am out of here.